So this is really the simplicity that underlies almost all of spirituality. So much of it is our ways that help us to let go. Mostly just through seeing that holding on doesn't work. See, the power of paying attention to your own life is immense. But usually when our life, we're very willing to pay attention when things are going just the way we like. Then we'll pay great attention. But when things don't feel good, we tend to stop paying attention. I mean, our attention is drawn to the pain or the sorrow. It's intrinsically drawn to it, but we are actually trying not to be drawn to it. Which just sustains it. But you can see or get some, I hope, some sort of feel, even in your imagination, that if you really, when you really see and experience that everything is a momentary display of an underlying reality. And if that's all there is, of course, if that's all there is, then you cannot be in any way other than that. Then you stop resisting it. Because it's not other than you. It's not something you have to do battle with. It's the difference between me being that relatively young kid or young man hanging from a rock, terrified, paralyzed through my resistance to fear, and that magic moment where something inside just realized there's no time for this anymore. You do this another 5 seconds, you might die. Then you realize how fast you can actually drop it. And all of a sudden, this terrifying moment of awkwardness, right? Awkward, what do I do? Nothing feels right. Where do I go? How do I do it? All of a sudden, that moment turns into simplicity, flow, and enjoyment even. How does that happen? And that's just sort of a metaphor, right? That's not enlightenment or anything, but that's sort of a metaphor. That's kind of an example of going from fear, which is a kind of grasping or a kind of avoiding, usually both, to really letting go. It's essentially what spirituality is. And by the way, some of you probably might have already got the feel for this, is when you let go, what it engenders when you, into not only freedom, but also, as one great Zen master said, Dogen, an absolute intimacy with the 10,000 things, which is unity. But unity is not just unity too. One of the proofs of unity is love. Because love also is one of those non-resistant states. Real love. You know? Love can turn into a resistant state, right? You go, oh, I think I love that, and so now I'm afraid of losing it, right? It can turn into a resistant state, but love itself is actually the state of non-resistance. When you fall completely out of resistance, then you fall in love. Does that make sense? You do. You even fall in love with things you don't particularly like.